We're about to go live with stock market news today. As soon as I see the red light is on, we are up and moving. We are streaming. All right. This is stock market news today, not to be confused with the traders news that we've been doing the last 2 weeks. Had to change the name. Don't ask why. Somebody sent me an email, and so that's what we did. So this is the news that you probably will not see on CNBC. We're talking about downgrades, talking about upgrades, talking about new price target, analyst forecast, hirings. So, and we go fast, we go quick. And first thing we're going to talk about is the market. Then we're going to get into the Robinhood saga with GameStop, and now we got Elon chiming in on Clubhouse. So here we go. You see it on the screen there. It is the markets. Dow was up 229 today. NASDAQ was up 332. 2.5 points. Wow. And S&P was up almost 60. Big movers of the day was LODE up 116. That's Comstock Mining. That probably has to do with the silver, I'm guessing. LACQ up 92. DVIX Biotech up 62. THCB up 56. GSM up 55. And VIE up 52 on the day. All right, let's start off. We are going to go to, so last night, Elon Musk and Vlad Tenev got on Clubhouse. They were in a room with 5,000 people. They maxed out the room. They had a number of sub rooms so people could listen in. So Musk, clearly he's a better, he literally is a better interviewer than an interviewee. So Musk asked him some questions. Vlad, the CEO of Robinhood, denied any shady deals, any shadiness, any sketch. When asked why Robinhood had paused buying, he blamed the clearinghouse. I don't know how he really, when the clearinghouse, it was the settlement layer, which is DTCC, right? For ramping up its collateral. So kind of what happens is on the buy side, if you're the broker or the clearinghouse, you basically, so I thought Robinhood cleared their own trades. That means you have to come up with 3% on the buy side. Clearly, what I've heard now is DTCC asked for 100% collateral on the big movers, huge volume on the meme stocks that we all know about. So he claims that the collateral that he needed was $3 billion. I think he needed far more than that, because I know for a fact that they and other brokers were on the phone with large banks trying to find liquidity on Thursday. They didn't halt it. They just, you couldn't buy it, so it crashed it, right? And so it was a shady deal. Why didn't you just halt the whole thing until you had the liquidity? I don't understand why that. So here he goes on. So they had to ramp up collateral to $3 billion due to greater volatility and concentration in certain securities, is what he said. The number was later negotiated down to about 1.4. Now it says 1.4 billion, but I also read somewhere else it was 700 million. Under the terms, they would only allow users to sell, which is BS. They should just halted the whole thing. Must also ask about Robinhood's relationship with Citadel Securities. In a precursor, they said, to what is likely going to be his response when he goes to Washington, because believe me, there is going to be some blowback from Washington, possibly for sure the SEC as well. He responded, there was a rumor that Citadel and other market makers pressured us, meaning Robinhood. That's just false. We had no pressure at all. So if you didn't know, Citadel Securities is Robinhood's main customer, right? If you're not paying for a product, you are the product. And that's what he's saying. So when you send a trade or you sell, it runs through Citadel, who is a market maker, and they could, if they want to, front run trades if they see a lot of the same stock being traded or moved out of, right? So the company earns a large portion from Citadel, but then Citadel LLC is one of the firms that bailed out the short seller Melvin Capital out of GameStop, right? Which lost 53% in January. I don't even know how they're still going to operate, because I think you need like over like 120% to come back from that, right? They helped inject 2.75 billion into Melvin Capital. I think they're done. There's one called Maple Leaf, I believe, is another hedge fund that's probably done as well. Also, big news last night: Robinhood raised another $2.4 billion for hopefully more liquidity. Now, what they said in a blog post was because customer growth, and we just need that for investing purposes. How about some more liquidity? You should have known on Monday and Tuesday of last week that you needed more liquidity. All you brokers should have. And the naked short selling, good, just don't get me started. The investors included ICONIQ, and Andreessen, Sequoia, which invested the 2.4 billion from last night, and the other billion on Thursday night was from all of these guys: ICONIQ, Andreessen, Index, NEA, Ribbit Capital. Robinhood has reduced the number of companies with trading restrictions from 50. So they had it on 50. I didn't know that. I thought it was more like 12, down to 8. But the limits on stocks include that the limit still is on GameStop, AMC, and BlackBerry. If we look up here, I believe GameStop was down 30 today, of course, and AMC was actually up less than a point. Okay. So just some news and notes here really quick. Goldman Sachs says that the current short squeeze in GameStop is the biggest in 25 years, as stocks with short positions against them are up 98 across the entire market. So they're not just talking about GameStop here, sorry, but they're talking about it looks like other brick and mortar retailers with a lot of short interest. You can find that on FinViz too. If you go to Screener, and then actually, if you type in any symbol at all, right? Let me show you here. So if you go to Apple, you can see right here, it says that there's a short ratio and a short float, right? If that's red on FinViz, then that should show up. That should give you pause, right? So some believe that the volume of trades implies retail investors are receiving support from institutional investors in executing their short squeeze. Absolutely. Why wouldn't the hedge funds, why wouldn't the institutional funds jump on this bandwagon too if they're not short, right? Here's something very interesting, because this is going to roll into silver. Reddit pulls all silver posts as speculation mounts. That's from Bloomberg, right? We'll get more into that in just a second. It looks like Square's Cash App has seen as the biggest winner here from the Robinhood drama. Now there were a lot more downloads of Robinhood as of Friday and of today, but from the people that did delete Robinhood, it looks like they've gone to the Cash App, right? WallStreetBets tells CBS a large amount of stock content coming from when they're talking about these meme stocks is actually coming from bots. So be careful with that. So getting back on silver here, this is pretty important. So spot silver rates increased 11% this morning. If it ends the day at a similar level, it would be the largest one-day increase since 2009, which saw a 13% increase, right? So the Post mentioned that banks and government keep the silver price low to cover inflation, and that silver price has huge growth potential. That's good and bad. Good for people investing in it, bad for inflation, right? At least that's the way I'm reading this. The Canadian silver mining company First Majestic Silver Corp has increased by 60% since last Wednesday. U.S. precious metal retailer APMEX said the company had to stop selling silver due to a 12x increase. iShares Silver Trust, which I had already been invested in, just so to let you know, it's an ETF that represents silver's performance. Its share price has increased by 6% today. But note, the Financial Times did say that the Silver Trust ETF is backed by physical silver. Thus, more investment in the ETF would make the company buy more silver, leading to a higher price, right? A user on Reddit, WallStreetBets, exposed a sizable short position against silver by none other than a big bank named JP Morgan. This is pretty big news. If silver goes up, the squeeze goal is to force the price of silver to $1,000 is what they wrote. And it's believed that it could bankrupt JP Morgan. But hold on a second. That would be epic, but it would also cause huge market turmoil. But it would also, guess who would be bailing out JP Morgan? You and me and all the tax people that pay tax. It was pointed out to me that banks hedge their physical silver reserve by running short positions, so it cancels the other out in the long term. So what I'm telling you, the fall of JP Morgan, even if silver went to 1,000, I think it's at 28 right now, it's not going to affect JP Morgan. Plus, I mean, we print money. I did think the Winklevoss twins had a really good point. If this short squeeze is successful in exposing that there's more paper silver is traded than actual silver, this could lead investors to abandon the precious metals market, leading them straight to, you know where, Bitcoin, BTC. So just so you know. All right, so the next big story was the privacy battle between Apple and Facebook. I'm sure you've heard about this, as Facebook will be sending iPhone and iPad users a message prompting them to allow the company to track their activity and unique device identifiers on all iPhones and iPads to target ads specifically to them. Do you want that? Then you get a choice, right? But here's what Apple CEO Tim Cook said. If a business is built on misleading users, on data exploitation, on choices that are not choices at all, does it deserve our praise? No, it deserves our scorn, and that's what Facebook is, right? I mean, they have sold us down the river. They have sold your data, and I, for one, am tired of it. All right, moving on. It's pretty interesting stuff here. Due to the risk in day trading, the shares of SPACs have increased 6% on average, right? As compared to last year, 1.6%. The increase comes despite the fact that SPACs have yet to make an acquisition deal. Or most SPACs have, right? I believe there's like 300 SPACs that have not even made a deal yet, but yet they're all up 6% on the whole. BioCryst jumps after WallStreetBets user says that it's the most undervalued in the market. It's funny how now we're getting our news from WallStreetBets. I like those guys. By the way, they're above 7 million people on that subreddit. When I got there about 2 years ago, it was like 1.2, and literally last week it was at 3.5. So literally about 4 million people have joined WallStreetBets. BioNTech and Pfizer boost 2021 COVID vaccine output to 2 billion from 1.3 billion doses. That's BNTX and PFF or PFE if you didn't know. Tesla stands to get at least €1 billion in German subsidies. If you haven't seen the Tesla balance sheet, you really need to look at it, right? A lot of, in fact, I'd say most of their cash flow comes from selling EV licenses. Just to let you know, TSLA. I'm not short, I'm not long. I mean, I've got a few shares, but that's about it. Ford's up 7% after announcing connected vehicle strategic partnership with Google today. Dynavex price target has been raised to 15 at H.C. Wainwright. Lowe's was downgraded today. Tesla price hike among today's top calls on Wall Street. So their price target has increased. Here it is. Top 5 analyst downgrades today. VIAC, mRNA, that's Moderna, has been downgraded. SPCE, that is Virgin Galactic. INTC and AAL, which I believe is American Airlines. 5 top analyst upgrades. EXPE. Here's one I just do not get. NKLA. Nikola was upgraded today. NKLA, HAL, and of course Tesla, TSLA. Thermo Fisher sees $1 billion in COVID vaccine therapy revenue in 2021. C limited price target was raised at $250 at Morgan Stanley, and we talked about Ford vehicles. Free speech. Let's talk about that. Well, Twitter's at it again. Twitter has blocked dozens of accounts in India, citing legal demand from Indian authorities. That's the government, because the farmers over there are protesting because the government wants to take a large portion of their land. Fact check me on that, but that's what I believe is what's going on. The accounts that Twitter blocked includes accounts of investigative journalists, politicians, and accounts linked to the recent massive farmers' protest. This is incredibly interesting, and it has to do with semiconductors. Taiwan's economy outgrew China in 2020 for the first time in literally 30 years. And that's unprecedented. It's probably due to the semiconductors. DoorDash is now the U.S. leader in convenience store delivery market, controlling 58% of the market. GoPuff has 24%, while Uber and Instacart control 8%. The market is expected to grow by 5.5% in 2021 to $33 billion. Last thing today. CoreSite Research estimates that around 10,000 stores will be closed in 2021, but 4,000 stores will open up. In the first month of this year, 1,700 stores have closed, retail stores have closed across the country. So you're up to date, and we appreciate you joining. I want to do this quick. I was going 30 minutes before. Now, stock market news today is just going to be hopefully right around 10 minutes. Understand that we are sponsored by StockTrade.tips. That is the actual website, StockTrade.tips. They have one goal, and that goal is to help you profit off the insider knowledge of the hedge funds. With that said, guys, watch your six, go hard in the paint. We'll see you next time. Cheers.